Senator Tesker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank you for being here today, Mark. I appreciate you coming in. I hope this isn't the last time we see you in front of committee. I know we're approaching 5 hours, so it's been a little tenuous. Some mental gymnastics for all of us, and I just want to thank you for being here. Facebook is an American company, and with that, I believe you've got a responsibility to protect American liberties, central to our privacy. Facebook allowed a foreign company to steal private information. They allowed a foreign company to steal private information from tens of millions of Americans, largely without any knowledge of their own. Who and how we choose to share our opinions is a question of personal freedom. Who we share our likes and dislikes with is a question of personal freedom. This is a troubling episode that completely shatters that liberty, so that you understand the magnitude of this. Montanans deeply concerned, they are deeply concerned with this breach of privacy and trust. So you've been at this for nearly 5 hours today. So besides taking reactive steps, and I want you to be as concise as you possibly can, what are you doing to make sure what Cambridge Analytica did never happens again?
Thank you, Senator. There are 3 important steps that we're taking here. For Cambridge Analytica, first of all, we need to finish resolving this by doing a full audit of their systems to make sure that they delete all the data that they have, and so we can fully understand what happened. There are 2 sets of steps that we're taking to make sure that this doesn't happen again. The most important is restricting the amount of access to information that developers will have going forward. The good news here is that back in 2014, we actually had already made a large change to restrict access on the platform that would have prevented this issue with Cambridge Analytica from happening again today. Clearly, we did not do that soon enough. If we'd done it a couple of years earlier, then we probably wouldn't be sitting here today. But this isn't a change that we had to take now in 2018. It's largely a change that we made back in 2014.
Okay.
There are other parts of the platform that we also similarly can lock down now to make sure that other issues that might have been exploited in the future won't be able to. And we've taken a number of those steps, and I've outlined those in my written statement as well.
I appreciate that, and you feel confident that the actions you've taken thus far, whether it was the ones back in 2014 or the one that you just talked about locking down the other parts, will adequately protect the folks who use Facebook?
Senator, I believe so,
okay,
although security is never a solved problem.
That's all I need. You talked about a full audit of Cambridge Analytica systems. Can you do a full audit if that information is stored somewhere, some other country?
Senator, if right now we're waiting on the audit because the UK government is doing a government investigation of them,
Okay,
and I do believe that the government will have the ability to get into the systems even if we can't.
If information is stored in the UK, but what if it's stored in some other country? What if the information is stored in some other country? Is an audit even possible?
Well, Senator, we believe a bunch of the information that we will be able to audit. I think you raise an important question, and if we have issues, then if we are not able to do an audit to our satisfaction, we are going to take legal action to enable us to do that. And also I know that the UK and US governments are also involved in working on this as well.
I don't really, I'm telling you, I have faith in the US government. I really actually have faith in the UK too. There have been claims that this information is being stored in Russia. I don't care. It could be stored anywhere in the world. I don't know how you get access to that information. I'm not as smart as you are about tech information. And so the question really becomes, and I got to move on, but the question is, I don't see how you can perform a full audit if they've got stuff stored somewhere else that we can't get access to. That's all. Maybe you have other ideas on how to do that.
Well, I think we'll know once we get in there whether we feel like we can fully investigate everything.
Just real quickly, Senator Schatz asked a question earlier about data and who owns the data. I want to dig into it a little bit more. You said, and I think multiple times during this hearing, that I own the data on Facebook if it's my data.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you that I think that sounds really good to me. But in practice, let's think about this for a second. You're making about $40 billion a year on the data. I'm not making any money on it. it feels like you own the data. And in fact, I would say that the data that was breached through Cambridge Analytica, which impacted, and correct me if these numbers are wrong, some 80 million Americans, my guess is that few, if any, knew that that information was being breached. If I own that data, I know it's being breached. So could you give me some sort of idea on how you can really honestly say it's my data when, quite frankly, they may have goods on me. I don't want them to have any information on me.
Senator, when I say
if I own it, I can stop it.
Yes. So, Senator, when I say it's your data, what we mean is that you have control over how it's used on Facebook. You clearly need to give Facebook a license to use it within our system, or else the service doesn't work.
Yeah, I know, and this license has been brought up many times today, and I'm going to be quiet in just one second, Mr. Chairman. But the fact is the license is very thick, maybe intentionally so people get tired of reading it and don't want to. Look, Mark, I appreciate you being here. I look forward to having you at another hearing. Thank you.
Senator Young.